unprofessional as I possibly can.
I think that's all they heard you say. Should we leave the music on?
Yeah, we're trying to be as unprofessional as possible, right?
Yeah, okay, let's leave the music on. Yeah.
Okay, everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the Dungeons and Downloads podcast, which we do
whenever we want.
Thursday.
Whenever we want on Thursday.
Starting at some point.
At 7:30 Eastern is when we want. Not because we have to.
Not because we have to. Yeah. Or it's scheduled. We just want. 7:30 Eastern, 8:30, nobody cares time.
Ouch.
Rufus, what are we talking about tonight?
We're going to recap some games we played. We're going to talk about something that's supposed to be bigger than a dungeon.
I think it's more of a concept.
And we're going to talk about games and becoming movies and YouTubes. That's the best I got. The notes are really good, though.
Great. Notes are great. That secretary is doing a great job, whoever they might be.
Yeah, whoever they are.
Hey.
Did you not read the push notification that came with your title? The push notification was the weekly show where we talk about snakes and whether or not there are also ladders.
Also what?
You didn't get one? You didn't get the memo?
I didn't get the push notification either. You can't rely on push notifications for things because Twitch sucks.
Yeah, but I mean,
and there goes the channel.
Look. You know, our category is still D&D, but I think I like that.
I've not changed our category. I've noticed that you don't change our category very often either.
No, I keep it on D&D, and I usually put it on podcasts.
You saw on Discord that we were love?
We were love.
We were love.
Yeah, we symbolize love of tabletop RPGs. Snakes
Imagine
can be
if
ladders.
You took snakes and you made a ladder out of it.
Also, what purely is the definition of ladder?
Something that makes you get higher.
A vertical strip of untraveled fabric in a tight or long stocking.
What's the definition of a fabric? Could a snake be fabric?
Or a structure consisting of a series of bars or steps. Yes, I read the second definition first.
The structures.
A structure
could be snakes.
Yep. It doesn't say it can't. It has to be dead.
So snakes could be ladders.
Hold on. What is a structure? Let's go down the rabbit hole a bit here. A structure is an arrangement of and relation between parts or elements of something complex. So in this case, the snakes are the parts.
I know when I need to climb, I get a bunch of snakes because I like to live life on the edge. Yeah, I only get the most poisonous I can, and I just see if I can climb it without, having to go to the hospital.
Yeah, that works. Don't try it at home, but that works.
Never made it to the top once, but one of these days.
The music is helping, I think.
Anyway.
They can just close their eyes and tune us out and listen to the really good music.
It's fine. Snakes can be softer, correct. Anyway. Rufus.
Yeah.
Which one do you want me to recap for? You're the sandwich today. I'm the bread. Because recaps.
Do the end of time last. Make them wait for it. This is like the penultimate lore episode.
It is the ultimate lore episode. So you're saying is do Out of the Abyss first. You could make a 60-foot snake. Yeah. Anyway, Out of the Abyss. We did stuff, as we always do. you guys, they essentially just helped out probably too much music.
Yeah, no, it was quite a bit louder than us because it was only meant to be intro music.
Yeah, no.
I turned it down a bunch though.
It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, so they did stuff. They helped out the town they were in a couple ways. And
it's perfect music for this.
They helped out the town a couple ways. They went into one of the bigger... They learned that the oozes were not a good idea to just go try and take out, because there's a lot of them. They were able to successfully convince the were-rats, which are part of Blingdenstone, and also the people of Blingdenstone to work together as well. Those are like the big story beats of what happened. You're essentially right now in the planning phase of setting up for a big battle, which, as I have said before, when you finally officially leave Blingdenstone, that's the end of part 1. That's going to be when that ends. So you're gearing up. Sadly, we're on a 3-week hiatus from that campaign, so we're gearing up in like a month to do that. But yeah, I mean, I'd highly recommend to go back and watch. You can just watch the clips. That was the story part of what happened.
I missed a lot of the story parts. I was muted. Yeah. I was deafened for a lot of them. The stream got Rufus, to hear them, but I missed them.
So we said this last podcast, but Rufus's character died again. So he has a new character, and the party doesn't really trust him yet. Most of the party doesn't trust him yet. So there were a couple times where he went off, Deathry went off on his own to go do some stuff, and the party talked. So Rufus took his headphones off, so Deathry didn't know at all what was happening. Though I fully trust Rufus as a player to discern what he and his character knows, it still is probably cooler for him. Yeah. It's probably cooler for him to just not know the information at all.
I even muted it in wavelength, so it didn't even come through, and I could even kind of hear.
Yeah. But the stream could hear. Yeah. Rufus's character died again.
Stream value. What?
That's my old command from Elden Ring. You died. Anyone says the word died, it just says stream value.
That's great. Okay. Love it.
It's great. Anyway. So yeah. Snog got petrified a couple weeks ago. So now we have Deathry. The
Deathry Jade Melter.
Deep Gnome. Deathry Jade Melter. We got to experience a cool note, since these are the cliff notes of the episode. We got to experience some cool uses of Thieves' Cant. We had 2 rogues in the group. Apparently also a mushroom that knows Thieves' Cant. So they had some cool back and forths. It was like the most use of Thieves' Cant I have ever seen in a campaign. With the 2 rogues talking to each other in plain sight. And like, for everyone else in their mind, they were just hearing these guys talk about, well, this meal is really good, and this is awesome, and this has been kind of weird that's been happening. But they were having a full conversation, and it was awesome. It was great. Deathry's not so much a Karen. Deathry's a cool dude. I like the character.
We've got YouTube Shorts. You can see a little bit of Deathry. There's more coming out.
Yeah, I think we have him up there once. But yeah, he's a cool character. The party is slowly getting to trust him more because Sildar can't succeed in an insight check. Can we talk about how everyone's insight checks in both of my campaigns have been terrible over the last couple of...
Oh yeah, they've been insight checking me all the way. Like, they keep insight checking me because they, like, as players know that I'm lying, so they're doing insight checks, but they're failing them, so they're like, no, this guy's just really truthful to us. And then I actually was truthful to Niskra, so...
One of Deathry's personality traits is that he exaggerates everything.
Yeah.
And lies to seem interesting.
Like, right after their friend died of a Medusa, a Snog, who was petrified, they were like, you know Medusas? I was like, yeah, of course I know Medusas. I fought like 10 of them at once. And Sildar was like, I'm gonna insight check him. And then he failed horribly.
Terribly.
And, yeah.
I mean, The voice changer was funny. It had some issues near the end where it was cutting out a lot.
Yeah, it was because the program was always open.
As a DM, I prefer the no voice changer as long because it worked more. If you said you found the issue that was happening with it, right? So it would have been fine after that. I actually was going to ask. So Rufus, when someone fails an insight check, I've started doing something a little bit different. What do you normally do? Do you say, well, they seem truthful, or like, what do you say? What are your wordings if someone fails an insight check or rolls low?
I just say you have no more information than you did before.
Okay. I've been starting to do something very similar. I just say you can't get a read on them.
Yeah. You don't.
That way they're not swayed either way. It's just.
Well, yeah, the insight check is he being truthful or not? So it's like if you fail the insight check, it's like you don't get any new information.
Yeah.
So like that could mean what you thought was true. Like.
Or that they're lying. You don't actually know.
Yeah. And
because I feel like that's a really good way.
I would try to explain the lie, like you see him twitch a little bit when he says it.
Sure.
And then maybe have him outright lie and have him twitch again.
Sure.
I think that could be a cool way to kind of just show it.
Yeah. And we've had some really bad insight checks recently on both campaigns. But yeah, so Deathry is apparently very truthful. That's something that we've learned. Who knows? Who knew he killed 10 Medusas? I didn't know.
He could have. He last hit them all. They were all almost dead. And he ran in. And because he can hit 6 things per turn, he was like bang, 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 bang.
You clarified. They're just baby Medusas, I believe was the line afterwards.
Yeah, something like that. I was
like, you guys broke a lot of peace. You had a really big, that's like supposed to be the big setting up for the battle against the slimes. You guys got all the information. You guys had already done a good amount of the things that, some of the other factions need. You learned that one of the vendors that you sold the gems to was actually the leader of the mining guild in Blingdenstone, the guy that no one liked because he was being very closed off and shady about things because he didn't trust you yet. Turns out he was the leader of the Miners Guild in Blingdenstone, so he was a cool dude. He actually offered, and then came the last bit, the leaving Blingdenstone to go do other things bit. You have everything in line for the battle, except you had an option. You didn't have to do this; was optional. To go back to Neverlight Grove and get some mushroom ingredients for oils that protect against Ooze's corrosive abilities. Mm-hmm. And to go back to Gracklestug with a salt shipment in exchange for high-quality weaponry, which would give you advantages in combat.
Yeah.
Not specifically against the corrosive abilities, but just advantages in combat. So they decided to do both of those. Now, this is a real cool part of the campaign where you get to witness some of the things you left behind. So they went back to Neverlight Grove, and some shit was going down. They noticed quite a ways out that everything started to look different. They'd already they committed. I threw a couple things like things are looking different. You're seeing some parasitic fungi and some things being like, those things don't look great in here, which they expected. Because last time they left Neverlight Grove, it was being taken over in a bad way by a demon of one of the demon
not
lords
so
of
fun guys.
Fungus. The demon lord of fungus. So yeah, they went back and it was looking pretty terrible. And where we exactly left off, they had a terrible. I hate Autobots sometimes. They had a fantastic crit stealth roll followed by a crit fail stealth roll followed by a middle stealth roll. Which made they were able to get a little ways in and get some ingredients, but then someone stepped right near a goblin that was in the undergrowth. That was transforming and being eaten, and the goblin reached up its hand and said, "Help me," as it was actually being just decayed by the fungi. And the last image they had was the goblin's face essentially being eaten fully off, but a grin coming across his skeletal form at the very end. And everyone rolled a wisdom check for madness, because that's a big theme in Out of the Abyss is madness. And 2 people failed. Deathry is currently swinging his weapons wildly. He hits Sildar once. and Niskra is paralyzed. And all I'm going to say is that's going to be really interesting to see what happens when we come back. Niskra rolled what I would consider the worst combat short-term madness that exists. It's just paralysis for a period of time, which I have not disclosed yet, and Death Ray is just swinging wildly.
Yeah.
So I think any cover you have is probably gone at this point.
Our lawyers are talking to his lawyers, but he's not telling us.
Yeah, and yeah, we're gonna see what happens in a month because one of our players is gone for 3 weeks. We are doing a couple of one-shots on Tuesdays.
Yeah,
instead.
we're doing a Prisoner 13 next week.
It's one of the new one-shots that just came out. And then after that, we'll do another heist. A couple heist one-shots. Yeah.
I'm going to be playing a Warforged Bard called Definto Artisan.
He's going to be playing the final form of Definto.
Yeah, this is like how I would have played him as after being programmed.
But yeah. So that was Out of the Abyss. We're going to see some really interesting things happen in a month when we come back. I'm really going to be sad if we come back in a month and a couple of the characters just die. But we'll see what happens. Everyone has backup characters, I think, at this point. I know that Niskra hadn't yet, but most people have backup characters. You said you were speedrunning Death Ray, so...
It's true, I did say that. I am speedrunning Death Ray %.
So we'll see. I mean, Out of the Abyss has been a really difficult campaign.
I want to see how many people that actually can fit in this pouch of Niskra's. He's been taking mementos from every character when they die.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to see how many characters I can fit in his pouch before Cal kind of makes him encumbered.
They're not a full character. They're just bits and pieces.
Yeah, but I'm going to lose a lot of them on purpose. Or see when he stops caring.
That's true. He might at some point. But yeah, Out of the Abyss has been fun. It's hard. It's a difficult campaign.
It's very difficult.
It's meant to be. That's what it's meant to be. Because you start off in the Underdark, and the Underdark is a very difficult, unforgiving place.
Yeah. It is.
And it encompasses that. It really embodies that entire thought process very well.
They really want you to just want to make a new character and start over. Because it's like, when I kind of realized that, like, hey, none of my characters have actually been to Gracklestugh. We can maybe do this now. Like, it almost kind of makes you want to refresh your character's reputation in the world, you know?
This is true. I mean, like, one of you guys hasn't been to Gracklestugh. That's Death Ray. Or, I mean... hasn't been to Gracklestugh.
I, the player, have been to Gracklestugh, but
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Death Ray's been there, but like he doesn't have bad.
He's probably been there, but he hasn't have bad reputation in Gracklestugh.
Yeah.
You guys don't know if you have bad reputation in Gracklestugh. You just know that you didn't complete the task set to you by some of the leaders at Gracklestugh.
I think my favorite.
They're probably not super happy about it.
I should. I'll bring up the picture for anyone who hasn't seen Death Ray yet. But my favorite part about Death Ray is that he's always got his disguise on.
He always has disguise.
Where is he?
And he will always have disguise.
Yeah, he's always got his disguise on. And when he takes it off is when, like, mechanically he's putting on his disguise. So last session, he actually took off his disguise for a bit, so people who've only seen him in disguise wouldn't recognize him.
True. Very true. Anyway. Rufus, what happened to Waterdeep?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what you guys actually did.
It was a very frustrating week. It was the week where it was
the chase sequences? Okay, I thought we talked about that last week.
Nope.
We must have talked about it.
You and I had talked about it off the podcast.
Okay, that was it then. Because I was trying to remember. I was like, what did we do? That's the last thing I remember is that session. Well, that's good because that means I do remember last session. No. Well, it's not your fault. That's how it's written.
It happens. Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Like it's meant to be a little bit frustrating. It's meant to be, you know, you're on a trail of something that you can't 100% easily get to out of nowhere.
Yeah. So what happened was, so we kind of talked last week about how they lost the Stone of Galore, and now they're kind of on a hunt to get it back. And they went to this place called Cuddles Meat Pie. Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah, with Squidly. That happened.
Yeah,
that happened
was
too. That was
yeah.
also okay.
See, that's when things actually happened. Was at the end.
So they go to Cuddles Meat Pies and they talk to the person, to the owner, and they find out that actually through kind of the wrong way, through Goof trying to discover a pizza oven.
She said there was a pizza oven outside. I was intrigued.
But that's how you guys end up fighting the bugbears that you're supposed to fight in the alley out front.
Yeah, so we were having a conversation, and there was a door there, and I asked her what was through the door, and she said a pizza oven, and I was like, outside pizza oven, that sounds great, can I see it? And she says, sure.
Yeah,
so
why not?
I walked through the door, and there were bugbears in the alley. No one was expecting that.
So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to walk past the Cuddles Meat Pie sign at the start and kind of like figure out, because it's a dead end street, right? Just go to the end quickly first. And then the bugbears are supposed to like come out of the alley.
Okay.
But
How
you
were
guys
supposed to go past that at first. We saw the sign.
Well, because there's another door out front. So like they expect you to maybe investigate that first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we didn't. We went into the meat pie shop.
But yeah, you guys went out back where the bugbears were hiding to jump you in the street.
Got him.
And then after that, because you guys were at the back door, there's like two ways that rooftop scene can start. So you guys didn't actually get to see what was in the building.
No.
Which sucks, but
probably would make things make more sense.
But it's better that you didn't walk in and see it from the wrong angle, so
okay. That's good.
But yeah, there was stuff in there that would have been helpful, maybe. But you guys did a rooftop chase, and then you went down into a theater area where you saw, oh, I gotta show off the poster.
A jazz band.
Razamajazz, a jazz band playing at the theater in Waterdeep.
Chase rules are very badly defined in the book.
Yeah.
The second chase we ran made more sense. Because you can't just dash infinite. You can't just dash up to your con mod, 3 plus your con mod in one turn. It's just you can do that so many times in a full chase.
Yeah.
Because like Goofy can't just cover 120 feet in a turn because he wants to dash 5 times. Or not 5 times, but a certain amount of time. Once you realize that, the dash made more sense. The first dash made 0 sense at all. But it felt like we weren't supposed to even really be able to catch up, even though we did, and there was some rules written just in case we did. I felt like the point was they were supposed to get away, and they were supposed to have another lead somewhere.
Uh-oh, what did I do?
Can't see the pumpkin.
Yep, I know. I changed screen for a second, and then it did the Discord in OBS thing.
Got it.
There we go. Razmajazz. This is the concert that they went into and bought tickets to see, but only stayed for a second because they saw.
Yeah, we bought that. That's right, we bought tickets.
I spent
Was there anything like?
What?
Oh, you go first. You go first.
No, what's your question? It might be what I was about to say.
Well, I was gonna say, was there anything in the theater other than the Razmajazz? Because I was walking around aimlessly by accident.
Well, there were like just the people. There was nothing else of value or anything.
Okay.
But that was actually the manager's office.
Nice. Okay, I'm happy that you have to make that up.
No, I didn't.
Like I started. I mean, Goofy is a low-end character, so I just started walking around because I didn't know where my seats were. So I actually stumbled into the manager's office by accident. It was great.
But yeah, for Razmajazz, I actually tried to somewhat make the names not completely and utterly different from what they were supposed to be.
I like it. Oh, maracas, the best jazz instrument.
Like
Bagpipe, also fantastic.
Blurb Whittlewan, who was the halfling.
Nice.
The actual person in that song was Ben Webster, so that one I just took B and W.
Sure.
And then Morster Olds was for Lester Young.
Ah.
And then we had Stony Sits, which was actually Sonny Stitz.
Okay.
And then Gizzy Dyslexial was Dizzy Gillespie.
Yeah. That one I got.
Yeah. I had fun with that.
No, that was good. That was a good poster. It was good. And we were only in there for like
2 seconds.
maybe 15 minutes. We saw the person we were looking for pretty much immediately, and then we chased them out.
Yep. And then that initiated another chase sequence where you chase them down the road. And again, one of the wonderful wizards of the coast, they don't say anything unless you have Charm Person popped up.
Yeah, that's like one of the most frustrating things as a player to me, is because they can't say anything, so you're constantly, as a player, you're like, okay, I gotta ask the right question. If I ask the right question, they're gonna possibly be persuaded, and there is no way.
No. Sometimes there's just no way.
That was just it. And it's like, okay, that's
GG,
cool.
I guess.
Then the guards, we tried to persuade the guards. I am going to say that personally, as a player, I'm not the biggest fan of hidden roles, because I do like to be like, I think I just like the fact that when you see larger numbers or even smaller numbers, you get an immediate reaction, and that has a good high and low to it, rather than being described what my number is.
Yeah.
But I also understand that you're trying to use the advantages of VTTs, right? Because you can never do that in person. Hidden roles you just can't do.
No, I'd have to roll them on your behalf, which sucks.
Right.
Which really
so, like,
sucks.
I like the idea of especially experimenting it because it's with VTTs. I don't think I'd do it personally as a DM, because I do like giving the players that up and down of like, oh, I rolled real high. And also, I feel like that helps early on show how powerful something is. If someone rolls really high and they still don't get it, you can use that as a device of, yeah, you shouldn't attack this thing.
See, I
do like the idea of
yeah.
hiding the modifiers on saving throws, though, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like just showing the roll, or?
Well, like the way that Foundry does it, where you can see a or I guess not modifiers, hiding the rolls. It's you succeed or fail. You just know if it succeeds or fail. You don't know how. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can, like in fantasy, in Fantasy Grounds, you can have it only apply to saving throws as well.
Yeah, I mean,
and ability checks.
I'm sure I'll get more used to it as time goes on. That's all it is. It's just it's gonna take a little bit of time, and then I'll be good.
Yeah,
we're all good.
I'm trying to make sure people don't just the next person checks because the first guy failed.
Sure. I mean, I usually don't do the same check as the other person just because I feel like that's weird to do.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather just help. We have a really hard time as a group investigating things, and I'm sitting here with my low in, and I'm like, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm going to literally just waste our investigation roll because I don't... I forget what it was, but we had a situation this week where I was sitting there in the back of my mind as a player, someone go check it out. Someone see if we can, and it was just nothing. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Goofy's not going to figure this out.
Nope. So I couldn't say anything because Goofy wouldn't be like, oh, well, what if we look over there? It's just, yeah, this is cool. Everything's fine. But yeah, so we failed at doing that because, Charm Person. But then we got another lead, though. We did stuff. I think we had a really nice
you had to go
ending.
back to the theater to get the lead, which is why I was like, I had to make... So when Rouse
we
was
didn't
at the
go
Harper...
back to the leader, right? Yeah.
When Rouse to the theater, yeah, you guys didn't. But that's what you were supposed to do. Because there were Harper agents in the theater who would have recognized Rouse.
Gotcha.
And would have given her the information. But because you guys tracked that person forever and ever and ever, who's really just supposed to be like, if they get caught, they're just like, look, I know I didn't do anything wrong, so scram. And then they just walk away. But you guys kept following her, and I was like, how do I just make this boring and not worth their while?
By making it impossible to talk to her. That is all.
Yeah. And
then
then you guys had the visitor show up at your bar and be like, hey, I want to talk to Rouse right now.
Because Rouse was scouting, right? Rouse was going to go scout some stuff, and then...
Well, she was calling you guys down to go down there.
Yeah, she was about to, and then we were going to go to a dead end, right? Because
there's nothing there.
There's nothing else there. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you guys weren't supposed to follow her. She's supposed to just leave.
Yeah.
But she's also affiliated with that party, which was something you would have found out had you gone back to the theater as well, so I just gave it to you in a different way. But then you guys end up trying to locate somebody in... It was Misty Shore. And the fun thing about this campaign is that the villains are technically tied to the seasons, but if the players change the villain, you're not supposed to encourage them to fast forward or anything. It just tells you to fix it up on the fly.
Fix it. Yeah.
And there were these...
It's supposed to be winter right now.
It's supposed to be winter right now, but it's summer. So there's these kids that are supposed to be playing on the ice, and they fall through the ice. And I had to refashion that into one of them just is now drowning.
Jumped in and decided to drown.
Thought he could jump and grab the cliffside, but he couldn't, and he fell into the water, and he can't really swim.
Yep. That's what happened. So we tracked someone though. Like we tracked someone. We stopped a potential murder.
Yeah, you sure did.
And then we killed a bunch of Zents.
You killed a bunch of Zents. We ended that combat a bit early, but it was like it's just more Zents. There's nothing more productive that's going to happen. So
one of those combats
I had some of them run
don't
away.
Want to just keep dragging it on. Yeah.
They thought that the other guys had it, and they just left.
They did. They didn't have it.
They didn't have it.
We got them good.
And then that's where we ended.
Yeah. We saved the kids. We saved the person. Now we're going to figure out tomorrow what happened. What's up?
Yeah. You guys tomorrow are going to figure that out, and it'll be good.
It'll be good. It'll be great.
Now, tell us about the end of time. Tell us about the penultimate lore episode.
So, I'm going to start this off by saying that this lore was already known to two of my players, one of which currently is on hiatus, and one of which's character would not tell anyone any of the lore that she learned. Or that he learned.
So wait.
So
did they know about the shadow? Or just about the world part?
I'll tell you the world part. That's what they knew.
Okay,
through a means that...
I don't care. Yeah.
You will also eventually figure out the means that...
I just wanted to know if they knew that the Shadow was one of the first dragons.
Oh, no one knew that. That was...
okay.
The entirety of the thing is everyone in the world that is trying to hunt the Shadow thinks he's a lich.
Okay.
Or that's what makes the most sense for something that's that old.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you guys started off, finishing off... You almost one-shot the first Soul Engine you got to, and then there was just a couple bad rolls. But you ended up dealing with that. You ended up seeing another flash to the past of Asmodean walking down the hallway right before he went to go tell the Shadow that things are okay. Don't worry. Don't be so glum. Don't be so broody. Which you saw in the Book of Memories. He did a little taunting, said something about Praxis. And I was like, I got to kill him, blah, blah, blah. And then he went along his merry way. Then you guys went to the last one, and you guys were given the option to skip the 3 rooms, and just immediately activate the Soul Engine, or you could do the 3 rooms. Because the little sister and the big daddy didn't want to go back to their world. Because honestly, Rapture sucks. Anyone who's played Bioshock knows it. If we're talking about any of the worlds that all your heroes went back to, Rapture's probably one of the worst ones.
Yeah, fair.
If you are wondering, and if you had done these in the reverse order, you would have had that option in all 3 of them.
What?
Well, if you kept the little sister, because that's a different type of magic.
Oh.
But that also does affect it in other ways, yes.
I thought I was big braining it, doing it in the order that we did it in.
Technically, you did it in the hardest order.
Oh, yeah, high score.
Yeah, no, you guys did great. So yeah, you guys did the last Soul Engine. I think you actually one-shot the last Soul Engine. You officially, finally one-shot a Soul Engine.
Yeah, we did.
You fought nothing in that entire area.
No, and we got that one first try.
Yep. The little sister was able to see a lever that started the shutdown process immediately.
So all of them had a lever, huh?
Yeah. The only way you could see it. Though,
I didn't
magic
figure
from another
you
world.
would put that kind of safe house on all those encounters.
My thought was all of them have the lever, but you guys are going to be getting a little bit suspicious of doing the quick shutdown method for everyone. I feel like you would have at least done one of them fully. And the other two parties wanted to go back to their worlds, though. The only one that didn't want to was a little sister.
Yeah, we probably would have done it the same way then.
Chances are you would have ended up doing the same way, but you would have had the out if you didn't want to. And chances are you would have maybe been able to convince at least one of the parties to not be angry with you that wanted to go back to their worlds. Being like, world's ending anyway, you probably should stick around. So yeah, you guys did that, shut it down, started going to the shadow. You came across your care package before the actual potential fight. There's Mega's sister-in-law who's been away for a while. I used that also to show you what's happening in the outside world right now. We talked about Synthesis, which you guys had been to, and everyone was like, yeah, Arson. I was like, yeah, but there's a lot of kids that died there too. And then it's like, oh, not so well, Arson. there's a lot of people that died there that were innocent.
They felt the wrath.
So yeah, they felt mob justice, which isn't great.
It's the best kind of justice.
So yeah, after that, you all spent about 20 minutes outside the Shadows room deciding whether to ride a horse or not into battle. How many horses do we want?
I can't believe nobody did it.
I'm just sitting back there like, guys, like this fight might not even happen potentially, depending on what you guys decide to choose. But this is fine. Use a patch. It's okay.
No, I was like, no. Why don't you want a horse? Come on.
Everyone wants a horse.
This is the only time where it's gonna be like actually viable to do this is to look cool right now.
Yeah, you guys could just have busted in.
I was thinking cool factor. I did not care about the mechanical value of that horse. I just thought it'd be really cool to burst in with everybody on a horse.
It would have been cool. It would have been great. But you didn't. You decided not to go the horse route, and you guys walked in the door, and you started a really long discussion.
Sildar was on a horse, though.
Sildar?
Or Trinix.
Yeah, Trinix was on a horse. Just like, screw this, I have the patch. It just ripped his patch off the robe.
The guy was like, the big bad was like, why are you on a horse?
That was like one of the first lines. You walk in, and the big bad's like beaten up from, being distracted and having this big fight for so long with the other heroes. So he goes, he sits on his throne. He makes it a very big deal that he can't heal himself in any way, shape, or form in case everyone's like, well, we got to rush him and kill him now. And then you get like a really big, that was my safeguard for my lore dump that happened between certain characters that never got told to the rest of you. Because he's going to tell you the same thing. So the whole thing is the end of time is a cataclysm event that can't be prevented, because when magic was introduced to this world, it triggered something. Based on the amount of magic used, the world's going to end at some point. Which, honestly, the world ends at some point anyway, in any timeline, in anything. But this happens to be a cataclysmic event. The big bad reveals that he's not a lich, but he is one of the three brothers. He's the Brothers 3, which is a book that I planted on Crealis a while ago. I gave little hints that he might... I tried to give... I didn't want to just say, well, he's not a lich, because every character in the world would think the Shadow's a lich. But I tried to give little tiny hints that maybe something's a little bit off. Throughout the campaign. But turns out he's one of the first dragons. Which... would take a very long time to go into everything. But as far as the players know, they're like, oh, it's the first dragon. That's interesting.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. And then he goes along to say, essentially, he goes along to say that everything that the heroes have done, at least in the Soul Engine and whatnot, were all, trials and things to show that they're worthy of, that they're upstanding heroes and whatnot. And then essentially lays out his plan to... What he's been trying to do is trigger, because the End of Time can trigger in multiple different ways, depending on magic usage, who uses what, where it's used, and whatnot. A lot of different factors go into it. And his plan, from everything he's been doing, the terrible things he's been doing, have all been for a purpose of limiting specifically Hell's and the Abyss's land in the End of Time. Because the End of Time is like a big old hellscape of all the worlds just mashed into one. So that was his plan. And he essentially tells them that that's his plan, and the reason they were chosen is after the End of Time was triggered. He knows that he's a monster, and he's become a monster to do all these things, and he needs someone with morals. So he asks the heroes, let me do what I'm doing here. Let me give us the highest chance of survival after the End of Time, and then I'll stand back. You guys get to rule this new world. You get to see over it, because you guys actually understand what good is. I don't anymore. And that was like, that's the big choice right there.
It's no choice for my character.
Correct. I mean, for certain characters there was no choice, but I almost got everyone. The other 4 almost agreed. I just 3 of them almost agreed.
I feel like I could have convinced Trinix that this guy is pure evil.
I don't know. So Trinix's backstory has to do with descent into Avernus, so he's really against everything infernal. And knowing that the Shadow is also against everything infernal would be a hard sell. So yeah, he does that. He ended up paying off Gerzik because you learn that Gerzik did a job for the Shadow at some point and didn't pay him. So he gives Gerzik the sum and then some of money and says, we're good now. He points out a couple other things. Specifically talks to Trinix because he knows the party at this point and what their goals, their motives, and everything is. He kind of ignored Dennis. He pretty much was like, yeah, I committed genocide of your people, but this had to be done in order to achieve this goal.
Yeah, and I was like, no, it didn't.
But it did.
No, it didn't. There weren't that many turtles. So it didn't have to be turtles. I'm not saying people didn't have to die. But there were significantly less turtles than Eladrin.
We'll go back to the insight checks, and I'm not going to tell you whether things are true that he said or not, because no one succeeded except for Crealis once on an insight check, and that was to tell whether he was talking the truth about the End of Time and the world ending. That was it. So maybe he was lying about the turtles needing to die. Maybe he was telling the truth about that specific group of turtles needing to die for his plan. Who knows?
I wouldn't believe him either way. It wouldn't matter. He could be completely genuine, actually telling the truth, and I crit the insight check, and I wouldn't believe him. I'd believe that my interpretation is correct and that he's lying to me.
We then went on to reveal that Phase had been Subject 12 all along. That Phase had been... I guess... I don't know. What are your thoughts? What came across? Because I don't want to give too much insight into what was happening. That Phase was willingly working with the Shadow, not so willingly working with the Shadow.
I got the feeling that she was a clone of somebody else and that she's basically a weird automaton.
Okay. She's not an automaton, but she is.
Subject... she's not.
Because I went into the story that Subject 12. Essentially, there was a half-elf kid that was shunned that could have been saved, but ended up dying from a disease. So the Shadow kind of like a Warforged. Her. Yeah. So the Shadow felt bad and recreated her. It's a lot more intricate than a Warforged.
Yeah, but
it's she is an actual person recreated.
She's a clone.
He did specifically say that like FaZe won't fight. If you fight, the entire time he's like, I understand if you want to fight and kill me, know that some of you will die in this fight. That is just how it will be, because I will fight for my life. But though you are powerful enough and I am weak enough at this point that you can fight and succeed if you'd like. He also made it clear that FaZe will not fight. He didn't really tell you whether FaZe was for or against what he said or what he's been doing. All he said is that FaZe has been around and has kind of been around. I was really... So at the very end, because this was the very end of the session, Mega was going up to every character saying, what do you think? And Mega was just about to say, I'm sorry, Deniz, and side with the Shadow when Krialis flew up and stabbed, or tried to stab the Shadow. We'll see how that ends up.
No, she
playing.
slapped him in the face.
No, she pulled out her weapon and tried to stab him. She specifically stabbed him. So that's how that ended up ending. I know that Deniz would have 1v1'd and died to the Shadow at that point, had it been the case. But it was pretty close. I feel like it wouldn't have been as close. So he made a comment on how Praxis was a mistake, was not meant to die. Praxis was supposed to be there with you. If Mega had been like, what about Spaguglio? And then his answer to that probably would have made Mega be a lot angrier. But yeah, so up until that point, every single thing you have done has been... So that conversation actually goes very differently if you guys have been a lot more morally gray. As a group, you guys were rather morally positive and good the entire campaign, except for Spaguglio. Like, you guys pretty much ran a line of good.
Oh, yeah.
If you were more morally gray, he would have been a lot less... he would have tried a lot less to convince you guys to side with him. He would have been like, if you die, you die, whatever. So everything that's been... What?
So what would have happened if we just said, fuck the soul engines and ran into his room? Would he still be hurt?
No.
Oh.
And you would have all been... You would have... That would have been a TPK.
Okay. So the time we spent mattered.
Oh, yeah. The time you spent down there mattered for sure. He would have been... So if you had... Also, if you... So one of the downsides from using the emergency shut-off is he is a little bit healthier. If you had emergency shut off all three, he would have been even more healthier to start. But yeah, everything... That entire endpoint... That entire discussion plays out a lot differently depending on what happens and who's in the party. And, like, for the end game of this, it was a completely viable option to side with the Shadow if you felt like it was a greater good scenario. And whether you do or don't and everything that happens afterwards, actually, we're in the point where every decision the group makes fully impacts the next campaign and the layout of the next world.
Which we will be uploading VODs for.
Yeah.
Now that I can actually upload VODs without it like actually taking hours of my time to do.
Right.
Every new campaign or adventure we start, the VODs are going
start
up
uploading
for.
it, yeah.
Because everything's up there now. It's just private.
So yeah, there will, chances are, I mean, this is tuned that chances are someone's gonna pass away. Or two in this fight. But there is still some more left of the campaign, and it doesn't mean that those players are going to stop playing, because I have some cool... What happens after that gives me a really cool segue for some new characters, potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys still need to kill Asmodeus.
Ooh, yeah.
Could have used the Shadow's help in that one, huh? He did say he was going to help do it. Yeah. Could have used it. No, you don't have it.
That's okay. It would be hilarious if we killed the Shadow and then TPK'd.
Asmodeus. Yeah. Because the Shadow is... The Shadow is the more powerful, but you're also fighting him in a very weakened state.
Yeah, exactly. So we just murder him, but then like we don't get a long rest, so we just go right into the Asmodean fight, and then we just die because we're all like one hit away from death.
No, I would never do that. That would be stupid. That would be interesting. But yeah, so eventually at some point, there's the next safeguard that comes into play that you'll actually know how Crealis knew the information Crealis knew. I will tell you that the trigger for that, which is the trigger that I will never use, well, I don't know about never use again. It's something happens when I feel like a character is completely just out of it, out of the fight, just broken, done. And both Crealis and Kiva literally walked away from the party. And then something happened. Because, like, the entirety of everything that's happened has been a trial, and that's why it was so oppressive at some points. Like, the Shadow was testing you to see, do you keep going? No matter what happens. Does this keep happening?
Not worth, bro. Not worth.
Sure.
From Dennis's perspective, not worse. Not worth.
No, I agree. But yeah,
like you invited us from the beginning, technically, because FaZe rounded us all up.
Dennis came later.
Well, whatever the group was in the original, like, had nobody died, it would have been that group, right?
Yeah, FaZe rounded you all up.
So they handpicked us. We could have just gone right there and not genocided entire places worth of people.
But yeah, but he had to know that you guys were, worth. You guys were fit to rule.
But we are. Yeah. They picked us, and we were the right ones all along.
Maybe he picked you for your potential, and he had to know whether you could live up to your potential under extreme circumstances.
But like, are we innocent until proven guilty? Isn't that the whole thing?
I don't know about this in this case. Something that's going to really blow your mind. All of my dungeons,
yeah,
and all of pretty much everything, even certain puzzles, are based around the number 3 in that campaign. If you go back and you think about it, they're pretty much all based around 3.
Why is everything 3?
Because 3 brothers. The brothers 3.
Oh, I thought you meant like that was just another thing, and like you picked 3 before everything.
No.
Oh, yeah.
It was meant to be a thing for, like, the Brothers 3. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make everything in 3s. Not for any real reason, but just, like, screw it. Let's go.
Everything is 3.
But yeah, so that was, like, the big reveal. That was the full choice. I understand that certain characters, pretty much that was no choice for, but that was both of them was perfectly viable options depending on who. I mean, we almost had a party just let 10. I don't know if they would let Dennis die. I honestly don't know. I feel like Mega would have a really hard time. If he said sorry, Dennis, and then Dennis just started attacking the Shadow, I feel like Mega would have a hard time just watching Dennis die.
Maybe, I don't know. He's not part of the core original group that there's now only 2 people left from. But he was like, yeah, we don't want to rule. I thought he was going to side with me.
No, he was the... turns out he decided not to... He actually said his one line was going to be like, I'm not a fighter, I'm a shepherd, and then side with him. Like, that's what he was going to say to the Shadow. And then be like, sorry, Dennis, I'm not a fighter, I'm a shepherd.
Then Crealis stabbed him.
Yeah, and then, I mean, I have a feeling that means immediately Mega's in. Dennis was already in. I'm pretty sure Trinix will also be in. I still don't know if Gruzik is actually going... I'll leave it up. Gruzik's like motives is money, and he got paid lots of money. So
yeah, like seconds ago.
So we'll see. Yeah, see Favo right there. That's Gruzik's.
I'll give you a coin.
Gerzik got a lot of money in his pocket.
There's one more behind your ear.
Rest in peace,
See, look, you would have been one short. Now I own you. Go attack your former employer, and you can probably get the rest of the money he has back there.
The fun fact is his recent employer was also technically Shadow-based, was FaZe, because FaZe was the one that paid Gerzik as a mercenary. The Shadow technically played Gerzik twice.
Yep. Oh, man. He tricked you twice, man. He was a good guy all along that we're going to murder anyway.
Oh, he's not. I mean, he also is very clear that he's a monster, and he knows that he's a monster, which is why his reason.
What I don't understand is why would it be so impossible for us to go do the stuff that he was gonna do anyway? Like
his stuff, because he don't think that you could end up. He didn't think that you can. He didn't want you to become a monster. He felt like what he still had to do would have made you become soulless.
Oh, I didn't get that read on it at all.
Oh yeah, that's exactly.
He was just like, we have to go somewhere and do some things. I was like, why can't we do that without you? And you're like, I spent years calculating it. And I was like, cool. We'll find your work.
I mean, I guess the reason you didn't get that read too is he very casually talked about starting a couple wars. He was like, yeah, I gotta start a couple wars. And I'm pretty sure he felt like you guys, he didn't want, that would like, there's a lot of death involved in war.
Yeah.
And from his perspective, you guys starting those wars, then realizing the amount of death you just caused would not, you would no longer have the moral high ground.
I mean, I don't know if we have it being complicit in watching either.
No, sure. I mean, that's the question to ask. Like, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to ask yourself that question and then choose. Like, that's it. I'm definitely not saying the Shadow was right and that was the right choice. Both of them were 100% viable choices.
Yeah,
attacking.
The read I got on what he said, he was like, well, we have to go somewhere and do a thing. I was like, but like, we could go there and do that thing. Like, no, it's hard to find. I'm like, we'll find it. The world's not that big.
But I did make sure to also put in the part that he did say casually, we got to start a couple wars.
I thought that was just because he was crazy.
That's part of what needs to happen for that. Some things will be a little bit more clear, but his version of the end time he was trying, like, every bad thing he did, everything, because the thing is magic triggers it. And magic in certain areas trigger it. So every war he started, every genocide he committed had a cause and effect. He's
trying to end the world sooner.
Because it's in his mind that brings about a better post-end of the world.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the world and the universe is ending. It's a new world is going to be born. And he's trying to get the best version of it in his mind. But in order to get that, he has had to do some very terrible things, including kill many Tortallon, all but 2.
And one of them is old enough that he could die any minute, so...
Yeah. It is. It's a very Doctor Doom style of like, well, this is the only way that this is doable. This is the best way.
Dennis is like, no, we'll just find a way later.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could... Well, no. I mean... This is the only...
We'll find a way later.
This is the only way that...
No, we'll find a way to fight...
triggered.
But, like, we'll find a way to fight our way back from hell. Like, we'll find a way to push them back. We'll find a better way. Not necessarily that we'll do anything to save this world, but we'll find a way. If this timeline's going to end, the next one's going to end too. And hey, maybe we'll do better next time.
I was not saying the timeline's going to end. I mean, time goes forward constantly.
Well, the world or whatever. But like, if this
in
one's...
In the next worlds, you could do better is what you're saying.
We'll do better and we'll win next time. But in the meantime, we're going to stop you. We're all going to probably die when the world ends and whatnot. So like...
I mean, the version that you guys have been, you'll have a choice as far as how long it takes. You might all be dead before the world ends.
Yeah, but like even if the world ended, like if we helped him end it quicker, we would end up dying too, probably.
Not necessarily. No. He literally specifically said that he wanted you guys to be around afterwards.
But like, we don't know if he can actually legit promise that.
He is a first dragon, which had been around since the very beginning.
Yeah, that doesn't
Of
mean they'll be
everything.
there after the end. Nobody knows, man. It's the unknown. Like, they're guessing. Like, from like a character perspective, they can't possibly know what's gonna happen after the end. It's the end. That's where it stops.
Well, okay, but it's not. It's it's a beginning, though. Like I've made
yeah.
it pretty clear.
Yeah. There's a new section that begins, but something ends.
The world as you know it. But
Yeah.
a new world.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
don't know either.
As far as what begins?
Yeah, they're guessing. They don't know.
Oh.
They're guessing. Show me the work. Explain the math. To Dennis, not me. To Dennis. Show me the math.
If he lives through this, he might just have the math explained. You know what's funny?
What?
And I know you've already showed this. Corrales could show you the math.
No. No, I want him to explain it.
Sure. I'm just saying Corrales could show you the math.
Crealis
Or at
the
least
player?
explain to you where Corrales could explain to you where it came from.
Interesting. I'll have to think about that.
A lot of things. I mean, Dennis doesn't know that, but after the shadow is dead, we'll go into the rest of what happened. Will finally be revealed. Like,
Yeah.
and also, I think Corrales. You'll also understand why Corrales didn't immediately say something too. There is a reason behind it. It's not like Corrales was just being a dick.
Yeah, she pinky promised to Kiva. Got it. That was a cool reason. I nailed it. I got it. I guessed it. You heard it here first, folks. Rufus guesses another thing right.com a million times. Guessed it right.
You want me to tell you whether you actually are right or wrong? I
No,
don't think so.
not yet.
I'm not going.
Oh, no, don't clip that.
Clipping that Rufus guessed it right.
No,
Okay.
Faye Vale did. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Someone clipped it so we can see in
Yeah.
the future, did Rufus actually guess it right?
We'll have to clip it when it gets revealed.
That Kiva Pinky promised. That's the specific guess.
Yeah. He said, don't tell anyone, pinky promise. That's my guess.
I need to reach out to Stacy to see if she is available.
What's
She wants
also
to play.
hilarious is when I play Deathry a lot of the times, I'm like, Cal, don't say anything. Deathry says no. And then we just see if I'm right or wrong.
Sometimes Deathry's right, sometimes Deathry's wrong.
But they've never necessarily figured out that I'm wrong.
No, they don't really. I mean, they're not super guessing anymore because the one person that was insight checking got low insight both times. So they think you're right. They think you're pretty legit.
And I told the truth once.
Once. And in thieves can't.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to tell anyone.
Okay. So what do you consider as a mega dungeon?
A dungeon crawl.
Like a full-on dungeon crawl?
Yeah.
Like with multiple visits?
No, where it's like the dungeon's
Where you
big enough that
can
you
long
hold
rest.
up in.
Ah, okay.
But you can't take too many long rests. There would be a reason why. There would be a sense of urgency to like stop you from just doing it every 2 minutes, but
Yeah, you guys couldn't really take any long rests in here at all. Just
Yeah.
because you had like an extreme sense of urgency.
so like
So I tried to make a mega dungeon without allowing long rests.
see, I would call that an encounter chain.
There were also puzzles.
Yeah, but
And
yeah, but
RP.
No, but like intrigue, it can be an encounter if there's like a thing to do. A puzzle can be an encounter. I don't just mean fighting. But like it was thing after thing after thing. But like when I think Mega Dungeon, I think crawling through the giant ass master map dungeon.
Whirlstone Tunnels?
Yeah, or Wave Echo Cave.
Wave Echo. But I think we did a Wave Echo Cave in like one long rest.
But like that idea, bigger, but like that idea, like those types of big cave things.
Would you consider Blingden Stone to be a mega dungeon in and of itself?
If there weren't as many people to talk to, yes. The map,
yeah, but there's too much downtime, right, for it to be a dungeon. It's a village with mini dungeons around it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But if that was all one dungeon, I'd say yes, that would be a mega dungeon.
So I just consider it to be a dungeon with multiple wings. I don't think specifically in long rests and that kind of size. I'm like, different things are happening.
I think they're dungeons.
Different themes.
I think they're dungeons in like the video game RPG sense. Where like cities can be dungeons and like big areas can be dungeons. But when I'm thinking dungeons in D&D, I'm thinking like an actual dungeon.
An actual dungeon. Well, I mean, this was an actual dungeon. It was a legitimate dungeon. Like,
yeah, but we didn't have to like crawl our way through 5-foot things and step over holes in the floor. And
that's true. You didn't have any traps. You didn't trap it. You could have trapped it.
Or like a thing that we had to get
and then bring back.
Yeah.
I didn't want you guys to be in there forever, though.
Like, I like what you did, but that in my mind, that's not what a mega dungeon is.
That's an encounter, Jane. Sure, whatever, it's fine.
Well, similar how, like, the last 2 sessions plus the session you're going into of Waterdeep has all been a long encounter chain.
But I feel like those are 2 very separate things than what I had than what Waterdeep had. They feel very different.
They feel very different, but the idea that you're going to do thing after thing after thing without a long rest.
We did get a long rest in between, didn't we?
No.
Or a short rest? We got some rest at the tavern. Sorry, we did a short rest at the tavern.
Yeah, you had a short rest because you had to go out right away.
Yeah.
But I kind of felt like the meaning behind what was happening was similar. There were some combat encounters in yours. There were some puzzle encounters. There was some talking puzzles.
So you would consider that closer to a... No, because it wouldn't be considered a chapter. Because that's just what a chapter is in an adventure.
Well, encounter chains are specifically like things to diffuse one after another where you don't really have the player agency to go buy something or go somewhere or choose where you're going.
That's true.
That's kind of the definition of an encounter chain, where it's like thing after thing after thing that you have to do without coming out of it. Is what I would call an encounter chain.
Gotcha. So would you call most dungeons that... I mean, I feel like then that means most dungeons you've also done in your homebrew were encounter chain dungeons. Then.
Yeah. The only, like, dungeons that you guys had were, like, the Goblin Hideout would be a small dungeon. And then...
That wasn't really... We just went... That was like an encounter. The Hobgoblin Devastator?
Oh, sorry,
like
no. I'm thinking of the first encounter in The Lost Mines of Phandelver. That Goblin Cave. That's not what you guys did.
Nope.
But the where you guys played as the alternate characters and went in, that was a dungeon.
That was closer to a dungeon. I mean, it was still done without any long rests or anything. But it was like it wasn't a mega dungeon. That was a regular dungeon.
That was a regular dungeon. To me, a mega dungeon is that, but bigger.
Gotcha. So like Whirlstone Tunnels.
Or like Dungeon of the Mad Mage is a mega dungeon.
Well, you have a lot of stuff you do in there. Like
it's a whole campaign, but it's a dungeon.
Yeah. There's also a lot of there's like NPCs and stuff, and there's talking, and there's long rests. I think there's also there's an inn down there, isn't there? At least one tavern at the end of the universe style thing.
It's kind of it's the same idea as Blingden Stone. There's many dungeons in that dungeon.
Yeah.
And there's probably mega dungeons within that dungeon.
Mega dungeons within the dungeon. There's no mega dungeons in Blingdenstone. You've already seen all of Blingdenstone, pretty much.
Or like the Bard campaign that you guys did, there was a pretty big dungeon in that.
I think the last dungeon was the big dungeon.
Yep.
The other one was just like walking around, dying, and then the last one was actually like a dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dungeons.
Yeah, I do. That's what I think. Like,
So mega dungeons take multiple days in game time, is what you're thinking.
yeah,
What you're saying. Okay.
yeah, like it's like a full-on dungeon crawl where you gear up and then go into a dungeon where you're there for a very long time in game.
Gotcha. Well, technically, you were there for hundreds of years.
We went back in time hundreds of hours.
You were there for years.
Time was running
days.
backwards, so you're like now 2 years younger, but you were there for years.
But yeah, okay, I see where you're coming from. So, have we answered all the WTF questions?
Why do they exist?
Yeah, that's a
because
good one.
they're just a device. There's, encounter chains, mega dungeons, town outposts before sandbox places. They're just all ways to allow you to do multiple encounters. That's all it is.
Gotcha.
It's a way for you to do, and again, an encounter is not always a fight, but it's a way for you to do multiple encounters in sequence.
Gotcha.
That's my opinion.
No, I think that makes sense. Why'd they exist? I feel like they exist also near the end of a lot of campaigns. Or if they're like a major point in a campaign.
Yeah, it's
Which is
usually
why
to,
Whirlstone Tunnels actually seemed kind of weird to have that kind of mega dungeon there. I liked it.
I think
it was a
it's
cool
to
mega dungeon.
intimidate you, honestly.
Oh, it's true. To like, because you're still at like you
Level
just
3.
barely got your first base equipment by being in Gracklestug, and you had to barter for pretty much any of it.
And we were level
And then
3.
you're thrown.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and then you're thrown into a
Here we go.
dungeon. Your camera just went off.
Yeah, I know my camera died. Like, all my USB devices
Yeah,
just randomly disconnected.
Ah, it's fine.
There we go.
Okay.
I'm back.
But yeah, I'm still really excited for the second half of Down Out of the Abyss, but that's not going to be for another month and a bit. And could be with a completely new set of 4 characters. Who knows? TPK, but you're coming back. You're all deep gnomes. You're reclamation. You're reclaiming the old characters thing.
Oh, Deathry will just run if, like, it looks like all 3 of them are gonna die next hit no matter what. He'll just run.
Yeah, because he's Deathry.
He's got no real attachment to this party. Niskra seems pretty cool, but, like,
You guys were friends.
I've known them, like, a few days.
But Niskra and you were friends.
Yeah.
Real attachment.
But, like, if he's not willing to run with me, like, I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. I'm not gonna die.
That's my recommendation. We can run away together, or you can stay here and die with the other 2.
You two are cute. We can run away together.
I say it in Thieves' Cant, and in my mind, this is how it actually goes. I'm actually standing back, like, pointing at probably a Demogorgon going, ah! But I'm going like...
Yeah.
Wow. Ah!
You're screaming at the Demogorgon.
They're just like, hey, do you want to run away together? We could buy a house together in Gracklestug and just live there forever. I've got a second pair of glasses. They'll never recognize you.
That's great. Okay. I think we have officially gone over all the WTFs of Mega Dungeons.
Yeah.
When is the next Mega Dungeon?
When is the next Mega Dungeon in this?
Just in
Soon?
general. From any of our campaigns.
Waterdeep is soon. You guys are getting
Waterdeep-
close.
Waterdeep has a Mega Dungeon at the end?
It's the Mega-ist dungeon that's in there.
Okay.
It's as close to a Mega Dungeon as you're gonna get.
I don't think Out of the Abyss has one for a little while. And you're in the Mega Dungeon. Maybe, okay. So, the time period between the Shadow and Asmodean could be considered a Mega Dungeon by your standards.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's happening there yet, but it could be considered a mega dungeon by your standards.
If it's dungeony and it's big, it could be a mega dungeon.
Well, let's use the term dungeon loosely.
I'm thinking
But it
like
still has-
underground tunnely dungeon.
Oh, okay.
Like that's my definition of dungeon. Underground
use
tunnely
let's use that term
catacomby.
loosely. Let's say that it's underground, and there are some things that happen, like traps and things could be in there as well, like a real dungeon.
There could be traps and things.
But it's a dungeon that's mega.
Mega's dungeon.
gotta-
Got it.
You guys got to get to level 14.
You know what though, Cal? You know what time it is?
What time is it?
Snakes or is this? Would you call this a ladder?
Oh, that a ladder?
Yeah,
Yeah, I could step on that.
that's like a foot wrong there.
Yeah. That's a whole ladder. That's a whole ladder.
Is this a ladder?
We're talking about which one?
The big
That one right there?
right here.
No, it's definitely a snake.
Yeah, it's really blue though, so it threw me off. I've never seen a blue snake.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, it's a blue snake.
I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of the same couple snakes.
Yeah, no, I'm not seeing anything.
I don't know. Maybe I should have tried this. Oh, snake or ladder?
I need to wait a couple seconds for it to come up. That is a ladder because you have
Yep.
a rung on the bottom
Yep.
and then it's starting. It's like
Yep.
it's not fully built.
You
yet.
just can't see the rest of it. It's up here.
yeah,
It's way up here. The picture's
Yeah.
cropped.
yeah, easy.
Okay. Okay. Snake or ladder?
That is, it's a snake. It's a little bit too flimsy to be a ladder.
Mhm.
I don't think I could get my foot in that or on that. It's a lasso, not a ladder.
I was really hoping to see more snakes hanging from trees.
No, that'd be too easy. You know what's really a ladder?
Oh yeah, see? What do you think? Is this a ladder? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, there's a piece of wood in there.
what about this one? See, this
All
one.
snakes. What?
This one's got like 3 steps to it.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's the best ladder. I could climb up that any day.
Mm-hmm.
Snakes hanging from trees. Stock photos of snakes hanging from trees.
Oh, look, this one's not bad.
I feel like that's more of a snake, though. It's a little bit too thin.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. He looks like he'd bite me. Yeah, I see that
Nah,
now.
that's okay. So no, Rufus, you're being a wimp. If you look at your ladder and you think to yourself, "Is it going to harm me in some way?" Then you're thinking wrong.
Okay, snake or ladder?
I don't know. I wouldn't trust that climate, so I'm gonna say snake.
Is it orange because it's warning me? Because
Yeah.
snakes do that.
But once again, no. See, Rufus, you're doing it wrong. You're looking at it and are you saying, "Will it hurt me?" No, you just climb it. You don't think about whether it hurts you or not. You just climb it.
I guess I'm just more analytical.
Stop. This is America. We don't analyze things. We just do.
We just do. Okay. Okay. The snake or ladder?
Ooh. Oh, that's a toss-up. I'm gonna say that's okay. So the foreground picture's a snake. The shadow's a ladder.
I like where you're coming from.
Yep. The snake. The foreground
what?
picture. I
That-
wouldn't climb.
10
Shadow.
points.
I'd climb any day. Oh, thanks.
Snake or ladder?
Can it be 10 points to Ravenclaw? What? Oh, that's such a snake.
No, that's got to be a ladder.
Look at the coloration, though. That's snake colors.
But that does look like an American flag on the front of it.
Yeah, that makes it an extra snake.
Oh. Right, because capitalism
ladders were
and
snakes.
and ladders is a game.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a Lake Elmo,
What?
and it's a red fire truck. Lake Elmo.
Yeah, it sure does.
Boy. I'm gonna DMC it so hard by that name.
Oh, let's get off that screen then. But yeah, that was Snakes and Ladders for anyone who stuck around from the beginning and wanted to know why I called it that at all.
That's what we're here for. Is it a snake or a ladder? Find out next week whether
Any of those were right. We've sent off our analysis to some trained snakeologists.
next week. So we're gonna do an old school board game theme. Next week we're gonna go over the cards in life and see how bullshit they are compared to actual life.
Oh, compared to actual life? I don't know, man. Back then,
That's what I'm saying.
you could afford to buy a house.
No,
and
I
life
say
insurance.
life now. I say life now.
Oh, yeah,
we're
when it's
going
like-
over. We're going over that, and we're gonna see how ridiculous.
Spend a
they are.
nickel, get a gallon of gas.
Yeah,
Man.
it's gonna be great. You know that I'm gonna hold you to that, right? I'm gonna put it in the notes, so it has to happen. You started this theme. Did you know that you started us down this road?
I'm just trying to figure out where we're going to get the cards.
Online. Do you think you can't find pictures of life cards?
Maybe. I've never tried. I didn't think anybody liked that game enough to preserve it digitally.
Pretty sure someone has. Because people are monsters, Rufus. People are monsters. You know who else is a monster?
Who?
Anyone that likes NFTs. We're gonna come back around to that first topic, but this was too good of a segue for me to.
Like the new YouTube CEO?
Yeah, like the new YouTube CEO. He's a monster. Because he's for NFTs.
Yeah.
The Dungeons and Downloads podcast takes a negative stance.
A firm
on
stance
NFTs.
against what people
Is
are.
it all NFTs, or are we looking at most NFTs?
I'm looking at most of Web3, to be honest.
Sure.
Anything that deals with ownership in Web3 for sure.
Sure.
Because they want everything to be a digital asset, and not everything has to be a digital asset. So
There we go.
they want to use
Dungeons and
NFTs to help
Downloads.
monetize things better.
But it's not. It's just not. It doesn't. Like, there's no. Just no. That's it.
Yeah, that was like the first announcement he made. He was like, "Hey, we should do something with NFTs." It's like maybe
Like most people who have a ton of money these days, they're like, let's do something with NFTs.
Hey guys, I bought an NFT last week. We should get into this because I don't want to lose all that money that I spent on my NFT. Everyone should have one, so mine grows.
He said NFTs be a verifiable way for fans to own unique videos, photos, art, and even experiences from their favorite creators. Because you can monetize that specific clip from that creator and be like, bam, you own it now.
Oh,
It's
Twitch
gotta
is
be
next.
NFT.
Twitch is gonna...
Didn't Twitch already start? No, sorry. There was a third-party site that started doing that.
Yeah. But someone is like, Twitch is eventually going to be like, hey, wait, we're letting other people NFT our clips. That's not allowed anymore. We're going to NFT our clips.
Yeah, they're going to. That's going to be like, this is a clip of some very famous streamer.
And then they're going to take
Doing this
1%
stupid
of
thing.
the sale price is what it's going to be. They'll take 1 or 2% or something. Make it look like it's just enough to cover the cost, but it won't be.
But it's more than
Oh,
enough.
yeah.
Like, they'll be doing great.
Yeah.
Oh, God. NFTs.
Yeah, they suck.
Now I'm sad. That is all.
But we had another topic that we completely skipped to get here.
I had... The segue was too good. I couldn't...
It was very good. It was worth it.
Yeah.
I like that you're the secretary and you threw all of that aside for the content.
Yeah, I had to.
You're like, you know what? I don't need this career.
or like non-fungible trash.
Aha, got him. I bet he's
Okay.
I bet he's gonna see that and make an NFT of it.
Oh yeah, he is. Anyway, so our other topic, Rufus, what are your thoughts on games becoming movies and TV shows and like? Give me your general consensus.
I think it depends on the game. And
in general, do you think it's just like a cool thing that's happening these days? You think it's a little bit too much?
I
You
think a
it's little
lot
too
of them
little?
are being done poorly. So
Okay.
they shouldn't have done them, but I don't disagree with the idea.
Okay.
I think it can be a good idea. Like, I think what Cuphead did with their animated series on Netflix was
really
great. I think that was amazing.
Give me a bad one. I'm trying to think of a bad one recently.
A bad one recently? I mean, I thought
Is
that...
a bad?
I think most of them are bad. Or I heard bad things about them. Like
what?
the
Give me-
World of Warcraft one?
World of Warcraft was like a solid 7 out of 10.
I heard a lot of people didn't like it.
I think it was a solid 7 out of 10. I think it wasn't actually that bad.
I'm trying to think of what other game movies there were. I'm just blanking right now.
Doom, which was actually bad, but people liked it.
I didn't
Like,
realize
liked
Doom got a movie.
it. You ever watched the old Doom with like The Rock?
I had no idea Doom had a movie.
The Rock is part of that movie as well. It
I
was
think
good, but it was bad. Like it was good, but it was like it
Is
still
the
was,
cover art like big silver letters at
I've
the
watched
top?
it a couple times. It was great, but I also like it really wasn't good quality.
Let me see if this is the... I think I can picture...
Yes, big silver letters on the top. 'Cause
Yeah.
The Rock is literally on the cover.
Yeah.
Oh, that was-
Yeah, I've seen this cover before.
You might have even.
I
seen the
did
movie,
not
who
put
knows?
two and two together that like it's that art looks like just reminds me nothing of Doom. So I had no idea that was actually based on the video game. Interesting.
I also, going back to good ones, I think The Witcher's been good so far. I don't know what they're
Yeah,
going to do
The
for
Wit-
next season because Henry Cavill's
people
gone,
are
but
really divided on that. Some people don't like it because it doesn't follow the books very
I'm
well.
interested.
and-
Oh, the TV series. I know.
Yeah.
I like a lot of times when a TV show takes a game or something like that. I try and kind of separate the fact that it's a TV show, and they're not going to always follow the games because it's a completely different medium. Like.
Yeah.
You have a whole bunch of other stuff you can do in a TV show that's different than a game.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the pacing for a game is not always going to work for a TV show. Like,
I think so. I guess where I stand on this is it can be done well, but like it depends on how they're doing it. Like I think the new Mario movie looks like it's gonna be a
everything
good movie.
but the main character is going to be great.
Yeah, everything. And like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the Mario is just absolutely useless until he becomes the hero trope.
Yeah, they use that a lot for that.
I like
you know,
the
Dungeons and Dragons is getting a movie soon.
I heard that. Yeah.
Honor Among Thieves. It could be great, could be terrible. I actually am kind of excited to see it.
Yeah.
But as far as I think a really good, I don't know if you've kept up with The Last of Us at all as far as the TV series.
I haven't
goes.
seen it yet. It's on my
Highly
list.
recommend it. I'm not going to spoil anything. I don't know if have you watched the games? I don't think you've played them. Have you watched them?
No. I don't know
Really?
anything about it.
Well, it's really good. It's good TV.
That's why I was going to watch the show, because I know nothing about the game.
Yeah, my plan is when I finish the show, I'm going to get the remaster on PC of the first one and then play through it. It's really good. They've done some things that are a little bit different than the games, apparently. But I think it's been really good. They used one of their episodes to expand on the backstory of something that's not really expanded on the games, which I thought was a cool little take. And it's been really compelling. Apparently, overall, they've been sticking pretty well to the games, though. And it's been a fun watch. Because you got to realize, like I was saying, TVs and games are different things. Something that is fun to play isn't always going to be fun to watch. so you have to mix it up a little bit. And you also can take the fact that you have a whole season to do stuff, to expand on certain parts of it too. Like the backstory they expanded upon wouldn't have made a lot of sense in the game. Because apparently in the game, you only go into this spot for like a pit stop or something.
Honestly, I like it better when the show has nothing to do with the game, but it's based on the subject matter and lore. That's so my favorite implementation of show.
Gotcha.
So like, as an example, there's a Minecraft show on Netflix. It's a kid's show, but like they do a really good job of what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Like it's just a show that takes place in a random Minecraft world that they've created, but it's a fully animated show. But the way they portray the different types of characters and things that happen in the game lend itself really well to how they've set up the show. They do a really good translation. I don't think it would be interesting for adults to watch the show, but I have kids, so I've seen it.
So you've seen it, yeah. That makes sense.
The adaptation was very well thought out and executed.
It's good. It's always good. But yeah, no, I definitely like the idea that there's a lot more video game movies and shows. They seem to be as people who make TV seem to be getting the grasp of games. I feel like they've been getting better over time.
Yep.
Like since the example once again, The Last of Us has been a phenomenal TV show so far, and that's the last one I can think of that's had that kind of a crossover. They've been doing great, but they also have Naughty Dog as I don't know about lead writer, but at least they're there. They were there constantly helping with the episodes.
Yeah,
I think that's really smart. If you're going to try and stick to the game, so if you go down the route you were saying done really well. Then I don't know if you probably still have the creators of the games around, but they're not having as much of a
they're kind of more like, hey, is this how this would work?
Right. But the whole trying to follow the video games, I think it's really cool that they have Naughty Dog. They're there. They're very involved in the process.
Yep. That's a good idea.
But yeah.
I
think it's been cool that like we're seeing the crossovers between TVs and video games and whatnot.
Assassin's Creed, that was another one I heard was garbage.
Yeah, I heard that was pretty bad. Uncharted was good? Okay, I've heard that wasn't the best.
See what I mean?
I need to watch it. I need to watch it before because now I heard that it could potentially be good, you know. Yeah, but Fable, you also think most everything is good.
Yeah, he does seem easy to please. Just give me an Assassin's Creed movie and a bucket of half-soggy popcorn and I'll watch it.
You liked Thor 2, so that kind of destroys your...
No, hold on. How does he feel about Shrek 2?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah. Shrek 2.
How do you feel about Shrek 2?
Like, Shrek...
How do I feel about Shrek 2?
Shrek 2 is like, that's the one. That's like... the point where people diverge when they say there's two types of people in this world. It really stems from there's people who like Shrek 2 and people who don't. Everything else is just a play off that. Like the people who like fruitcake and people who don't came from this.
This was the beginning. Shrek 2. Am I not supposed to like Shrek 2?
That's the thing. It's a 50-50. I think that was...
I feel like I liked it. I haven't seen it in forever, but I feel like I liked it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed myself.
Let me see if I'm right about this before I say it.
Wasn't Puss in Boots supposed to be... Oh, you mean like, did a not good kill? Oh, you're saying that you didn't like Puss in Boots, even though apparently the last movie that they released that was just Puss in Boots was supposed to be good. Wow.
But Shrek 2 is a big dividing point for a lot of people.
Really? I didn't know that. I feel like I liked it. And I didn't realize that I was on the controversy. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, see, the audience score has it at like 69, but I think it's like really highs and really lows. Yeah, it's also a meme.
It's a meme. That's amazing.
Like, I wonder if I can all critics. No, verified audience,
like
all audience.
Puss in Boots is a classic cat.
God, Rotten Tomatoes is really hard to see stats on how many people voted each number.
I've heard it's interesting. As far as talking about Rotten Tomato, apparently the new Marvel movie got some bad ratings. Though I've only heard. Well, I guess I've only actually talked to one person about it in real life. They said it was great. I'm gonna go see it on Monday, so I don't care. There are certain things that I'm like, yeah, I'll fanboy over, and I really don't care if it's that bad. And there are certain things that I'm like, oh, I got bad reviews. Maybe I'll wait until it's out on, you know, line somewhere, streaming. Yeah. Yeah, I like. You know what? No, I did like Shrek 2. I'm gonna say that now. Now that you've given me more time, I'm gonna put my foot down. That's all.
Yeah, I think.
What
it's
are your
good.
thoughts?
I think it's better than. Well, I don't know if it's better than. It was really good though. I thought.
Yeah.
It's only got a. I think that's the thing. It's only got like a 69, but everybody says it's good. I think there's a weird mystery around Shrek 2, and I can't remember what it is, but there's a
They released a classic a Puss in Boots movie very recently that has a 95 on Rotten Tomato.
Yeah.
So take that, Faye Bell. You're wrong.
People really like Puss in Boots.
People really like that. I've only heard good things about it.
I don't know where I stand on it. I don't really.
I haven't watched that one.
Yeah, me neither. But yeah, there's also Shrek games too. I've played some of them. Most of them are terrible.
Yeah, I feel like TV. I feel like that's something. Licensed video games.
Yeah,
we're still having a hard time with that one. On the flip side of video games into TV, the other way around, we have some issues with that.
Did you watch the video I sent you for Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle?
I don't think I did.
Oh man,
Let's watch it together on stream.
We can if you want.
Well, I mean, how long is it?
I don't remember. I feel maybe too long. Bugs.
Is it funny?
No, it's just ridiculously interesting, and it's like a giant licensing thing. Yeah, the most.
Simpsons Hit and Run was a
6
classic.
minutes.
That was a game.
It's 6 minutes long.
The Walking Dead Telltale games were also fantastic. That was a licensed video game.
Don't switch. Move over here. This is
damn.
This is the link to it. It's 6 minutes long, but basically it's about this game called Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle that came out for Game Boy. But like the game was released in several different countries as several different IPs, and as everyone tries to find this game, or like they try to talk about it online with other people, they're like, I've never heard of what you're talking about, but I've played this game. Which happens to be like the exact same game, but a different licensed character.
That's amazing.
And it's like some places in the world got like 2 and 3 and 4, and some places got like 1, 2, 3, 4, all different IPs, and like some places just skip numbers altogether. And
nice.
It just like goes through chronologically where they get licensed and released, and it's just this crazy, messed up franchise.
Nice.
But
that sounds insane.
It's a super cool story.
I love it.
But that's like the ultimate licensed game right there. It was the same game licensed to so many different people.
Amazing. Licensed everywhere in the world.
I'll post it in chat for anybody interested. It's called The Bizarre History of Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle. And I remember that game. I had that game.
You had a version of that game.
Uh-oh. I had an exclamation point C on that link, so I don't think it worked. But there, I posted it again.
No, it worked.
Okay, well now you got it twice. It doesn't look good and chatty. That's all I have to say, which is my
Well, maybe
chat
you should
client.
be better. Got him.
Do you have anything else to mention, Cal, before we wrap up here?
I think we're pretty good.
Everybody go do a thing.
Go do a thing. If you haven't done a thing, then do a thing. Go join us in the Discord. The bot posted that too. If you want to know when we're around, there's things we do. Pop in that Discord the bot just posted.
Or come back.
Hang out.
Come back tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern. We'll be playing
Nah, don't do
Waterdeep
that.
Dragon Heist. Then come back again on Sunday at 8:30 Atlantic time, which happens to be
TPK a second
7:30 Eastern, where we're gonna play Horde of the Dragon
7:30, the
Queen.
time that matters.
And then
Yeah.
come back on Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern, where we're gonna play Prisoner 13, and then back again
That's gonna be
next
fun.
Thursday at 7:30 Eastern. There's a pattern here where we're gonna do the podcast again.
There's only one thing that's at 8 Eastern.
Yeah,
That's
we
fine.
might. I don't know. Maybe I'll start streaming earlier for anyone who wants to do something else or just chat.
to us
We
just chat. Sure.
we could do like an IRL.
I
Stream.
might be around. I mean, we pretty much do that at the start of every Out of the Abyss. We just
Yeah.
do like a 10-minute IRL stream.
Yep.
But yeah, that's it. That's gonna do it for me. Hope everyone has a fantastic night. Wait a minute. Sorry, I started this out very unprofessional. I need to. Bye, everyone. I guess.
Yeah.
Have fun, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't really care.
Cal doesn't care about you or your feelings.
Nope.